Good day to you, ma'am. I am Charles Senior A. De Castro, and we are Group 5 of Class A16 of GED 106, and this will be our discussion on the significance of purposive communication. But before we get to its significance, let us hear what purposive communication really is.
So I am Andrei Paulo San Miguel. I I will now discuss the meaning of purposive communication. The significance of purposive communication as to how it is related to values, beliefs, practices, and culture. To start it up, let me give you a quick background on what it is purposive communication is. Purposive communication is not just communicating with other people with a purpose. It is by one way or another the entirety of the various methods of different ways of communicating. That includes writing, speaking, and presenting to different audiences. In other words, it is a course that would help us to convey and deliver more of the message to our readers or listeners and receivers. It is an important skill to learn. It would help us to communicate well and would help develop the communicative competence that would make us communicate effectively. It is not just important to our so now they will discuss the significance of values, beliefs, practices, and culture.
Hi, I'm Alfonso Joaquin P. Flores, and I am going to discuss the significance of purposive communication and values. Through effective communication, respect may be earned as there is a reciprocation of information and feelings. It also helps both parties to establish rapport towards each other. When an individual honors itself through different ways of communicating, he or she could build confidence and would be able to achieve other things in a light manner. Recognizing that communication is transactional and dynamic, not mechanistic or static. Adapting your messages to meet the needs of the moment. Always be prepared because you cannot predict exactly how interaction will turn out. And with this, it devolves and ameliorates one's value through purposive communication. It eliminates social barriers and makes us a better listener and messenger to other people. Thus, communication is the key for a long lasting relationship since it connects people to understand each other, their perception. Communication between individuals let them gain trust from each other, therefore bounding them to act and speak in honesty. Being consistent and effective through purposive communication could simply shape the values we have to ourselves and towards the others.
Okay. So next, let us hear the significance to its beliefs.
Hi, I'm CLEAJANE SABINO, and have you ever heard of the comics that composes of the number 6 and number 9 underground? So it sparks an argument between the two people. The other one continues to show that it really is number 6, the person on the side, while the other one shows that it really is number 9. Both of them wanted to be correct and justifies that the other person is wrong. However, we both know that none of them are wrong. For us, that this is what beliefs are. From this simple argument, we can apply the importance of purposive communication. And I believe that we believe in our group that everyone has their own set of beliefs that occurred from during their childhood and through all the informations they had learned all throughout the years. And purposive communication allows both parties to understand each other's perspectives, and we know that everyone has different perspectives and we will not be able to understand someone without having to see from their point of view. And Of course, we need to have a meaningful conversation with them because having a meaningful and purposeful communication creates a better world for one another. That's what our group believes in.
Okay, next, let us hear its significance to its practices.
My name is BALUYOT, and um, the importance of purposive communication in the practices are simply because its main teachings are practical to you since most of the goal of purposive communication answers what do I want to come out of this interaction, or how do I reach that goal with my communication, and also it tries to answer the question, what are all the possible reactions to what I plan to say, um, and what did she or he mean when they say this. And I think that applying these goals or these questions in purposive communication helps in the practices to it helps with the practices to to have a specific goal in mind when you're saying or doing something and to reach that goal.
So next, let us hear its significance to its culture.
Hello, my name is Seth Jarl Agustin, and I'm here to report about the significance of purposive communication to culture. So there are billions of people in the world who do not understand English or cannot communicate in English properly. Not properly speaking can cause various misunderstandings and be a barrier to communication. Different cultures have developed their own language as part of their heritage. People are comfortable communicating in their own language, whereas learning a new one is much harder. Uh, an example is the separation of the East and West Germany for 40 years, which has caused their language to differ a lot. Their dialect has become very different from each other. As people from East Germany became more influenced on Russian, and people on West Germany had been influenced more on English. And this has resulted to a barrier in communicating with them themselves. So another example is the example given by Ma'am last meeting, which is people from Visaya. They tend to say, nalibog ako. To us Tagalog people, it means it's like perverted. But to Visayans, it means nalito ako, which means I'm confused. So we should consider possible pitfalls as we venture to intercultural communication, which is the very purpose of purposive communication. The purpose of purposive communication is to develop our communicative competence, and by developing it, we are enhancing our cultural and intercultural awareness. And this can be done through multimodal tasks such as the one we are doing right now. And also, this provides us not only with opportunities for communicating effectively, but also appropriately to communicate to multicultural audiences in a local or global context. Thank you.
So lastly, before closing this discussion, let us hear a brief conclusion about the significance of purposive communication.
So for the conclusion, I am Christian Jason B. DENAGA. For the conclusion of what we have discussed, Purposive Communication is a course that develops students' communicative competence, and also it enables its learners to adopt cultural and intercultural awareness and sensitivity in communication of ideas. In the perspective of its beliefs, Purposive Communication wants its learners to have a very meaningful conversation. And for its practices, the perspectives of the conversation of both parties should be considered fairly. So it can avoid any misunderstandings in the future. And for its culture, as mentioned earlier, different countries have their own languages, and in these countries have regions that has own dialects. And in these dialects, um, some words that are very unfamiliar to other regions, so it can be misunderstood. That's all.
So thank you, ma'am, for listening on the discussion of our group. And this will be all for the discussion of the significance of purposive communication. Thank you.